Percussion legend Omar Hakim uses sensory percussion to make an ensemble sound like a symphony, all in real time using his normal acoustic kit. Let's hear how he achieves this effect.
So the idea was to create a piece of music that would show off what I could do with the trigger part of it, but also what I could do with the sound engine part of it as well, which included internal sounds that are done by their excellent sound design team, as well as samples that I actually loaded in and edited myself. So with all of these elements, it becomes this really fun sort of expressionistic moment of, just joy and experimentation. I actually started with the musical idea first. I sat down, I improvised that drum rhythm on an acoustic drum set. But then the real fun is when you show it to the band members and they get their hands on it, and then all of a sudden it gets a little longer, there's solos, we figure out other things that we can do with the arrangement, and then spontaneously becomes an osmosis song.
Each drumhead has been carefully pre-programmed by Omar to play a specific role in the overall composition.
The role of this tom in the song was to play back some melodic elements. I sampled about 32 different notes and chopped them up, and then we applied them to a sequencer module. And inside of that sequencer module, we could do other things with them, like layer them. But then there's another thing that happened where we could layer two notes together. And then with a randomization, the harmony is always a surprise. So it's sort of what I like about the system is that you have the ability to create some randomized elements that always surprise you, and then they will inspire you to kind of do something the moment you hear it. So it's the thing is alive now. It's not just like a static thing that it's just going to do that every time. And I sort of like the surprises. What we were also able to do with this drum is we were able to assign a controller switch to the rim so that I could switch back and forth between this being a single note thing or this playing back in harmony, in randomized harmony. So that was the role of that drum. Here we do have a trigger, and what we did was we used one of the stock sounds, figuring out which ones would fit the song and which one would actually complement the snare drum and give us a little extra texture to that sound. We used that same approach for Tom 1 and also this floor tom. So inside of the pattern of that song, there's a lot of kind of back and forth between this floor tom, that snare, fills here, that sort of thing. This drum now also has a trigger, but it has a bigger role in the arrangement, because what I've done here is I've loaded in some kind of glitched and pitched samples that also play back sequentially. So there were 8 notes. Each note, if I hit it and I let the sample play back to its fullest, it's about 1.5 bars to 2 bars of a pattern. But if I interrupt the pattern, it goes to the next note. So I could interrupt that pattern as much as I want and stop it, and then it will play through whatever the last note was. So it was really fun to do that, and we applied that just to the center of the drum. The edge of the drum is the acoustic tom and the layered sample of one of the stock sounds. So basically, I'm jamming on the edge, I cream the center, and it kicks off the glitch sample. So it's really fun because now I have this expression that I can do that's kind of center, edge, patterns. And like I said, it's fun because it feels alive, and I can really have fun with that and really improvise with it.
It's time to experience what Omar is doing behind his sensory percussion outfitted drum kit compared to his band. Listen closely. he learns, the more Omar believes we have only begun to understand the possibilities of sensory percussion.
And what's blowing my mind, and I'm still kind of new to it, but I'm starting to understand really how deep I can go in terms of sounds, layering, sequencing, control. And the funny thing about this, because they're sensors and not triggers, the drum is not just this kind of playback device, it's actually also a controlling device. Controlling not only dynamics, but other aspects, like I said, switching between things, being able to assign several different hits that take me in a different direction every time. And because of the programming power, it's not just about melodies. I could totally be playing chords. I can get into some pretty deep programming that not only involves the rhythm, but also melodic and harmonic aspects of our composition. So I'm looking forward to kind of playing with that part of the thing more, because I know it's just going to take me in a whole other direction. It's really very versatile, really powerful, and I think I'm just scratching the surface of what I could really do with this going forward.
Now let's listen as Omar performs his new arrangement. Entering Sonic Universe OH485.